Welcome to Two Guys in the Outdoors. This week's show is about the basics on dealing with snakes and predators in the Virginia outdoors. Please subscribe to the channel. Give us a comment. Share this show with a friend. And give it a like.
Hello, everyone. This is Bob Walls with Two Guys in the Outdoors. Hope everybody's doing well. One of the previous weeks, we talked to you about, ticks and mosquitoes and what to do and how to do that. But this week, I want to talk to you about snakes, particular snakes that you find here in Virginia. Now, in Virginia, we have, there's like 32 species of snakes that we have here, but there's only 3 of them that are actually venomous. Okay. And that's a cottonmouth, which is usually found in the southeastern part of the state. Okay. And then we have copperheads that you'll find everywhere. All right. And then we got the timber rattlesnake, which lives mainly in the western side of Virginia, up in the mountains, in the woods area. But there is some population that's starting to show up down in southeastern Virginia. Um, but they're known as like canebrake rattlesnakes. I don't know much about them. I know the timber rattlesnakes here where I live. Um, and I'm one of those guys that I really don't like snakes. It's not one of those things that I don't like them that I'll kill them on the spot, but I just don't like snakes. I give them all a very wide breath. I don't care if they're non-poisonous or if they're poisonous. So yeah, for those of you that like them, you can call me a baby, whatever. But everybody's got their thing. Okay. So what do you do with when you encounter snakes, or what can you use for protection for snakes? So first and foremost, as you're walking through the 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 field, the woods, whatever, you want to try to pay attention to what's around you, listen to what's around you, and then watch where you step. Okay. Um, Even though you're out scouting, or if you're hiking, you're probably generally going to be on a path, but you still want to watch where you walk, where you're on a path. Fishing, you may be trying to get to that one good honey hole, but you have to climb over some things and walk through some stuff. So, but you always want to take care of where you're walking. Okay. And let's say this too, and where you're sitting, because if you're going to be out spring gobbler hunting, you may, you're going to try to find a good tree that you want to sit by and call them gobblers in. Um, you don't want to sit right there on top of uh, uh, a snake of any sort. Okay, so just be prepared and look at what's around you and just pay attention. And that should go anytime you're in the woods. Okay. But with snakes in particular, pay attention where you're walking. If you happen to run across one, don't try to. I do not suggest. Maybe it's my fear, but I do not suggest that you walk up and try to pet it. That is wildlife, right? So try to give it its space. Okay. Typically, a snake will leave. Okay, unless it feels threatened. If it doesn't have an escape path, okay, that's typically the only time it's going to strike. Okay, if it's backed into a corner, so give it a path, give it, walk around it, give it some space. Now, out of those 3 that we talked about, the cottonmouth, copperhead, and the rattlesnake's the only one that's going to give you any kind of warning beforehand. So if you hear that rattle, um, then there's something in the area, and you better pay attention. Okay, but the other ones, you won't get too much of a warning. Okay. They'll see you, and if they feel threatened. Now, there are some snakes, just like any other wildlife, there are some snakes that may be aggressive. Okay. And that's why you need to very much pay attention. Okay. Now, there are some things that you can do to try to reduce uh, being bitten. Okay. Just in case, because, you're out in the woods, you're in their territory, you're in their living room, you know, and if you run across them, there's potential possibility. And I don't like snakes, and that's a fear of mine. Okay, but I won't let it keep me from going out and enjoying the outdoors. So one thing that I use, okay, for now, it's a pair of snake gaiters. Okay, they weren't very expensive. They just they're pretty thick. Okay, so the snake's not going to be able to bite through it. Okay, typically. So they look like that. They just strap around your leg. Okay. Like this. Okay. And if this is my boot, okay, at the bottom, goes over the front shoe laces and everything, and then up my shin. Now I've got pretty short legs, so it almost goes to my knee. Okay. So that's one way you can do it. Okay. Another way is you can actually buy snake proof boots. Okay. And they'll come up, and you can get them in a variety of different kinds, and, anywhere from the rubber boot type all the way up to a really nice pair of leather boots. Okay. I went the cheap route. Okay. And just got me a pair of these. Okay. Um, but I also make sure that I wear either a leather boot underneath, because I usually wear either ankle high boots or shin high boots. So they're either rubber or leather to cut down on it. Doesn't mean they can't bite through it. Okay. Maybe if you get one of them real big ones. But generally speaking, they won't be able to bite through that stuff. So it just helps you be a little bit protected. Okay. So snake gaiters, the snake proof boots, rubber boots. But then another thing that you could use that they use a lot out west, and that's just chaps. So they're actually um, chaps. They're just like the ones that you see maybe cowboys wear. They may not be as frilly and everything, but um, they come up pretty high up into the thigh. Maybe on the front they come all the way up. In the back they may come up to the mid part of your thigh, or they may come all the way up to up to your back end. Um, but that's another way. They also use them, to cut down on briar bushes and all kinds of stuff, especially if you're out uh, bird hunting, small game hunting. You have to go through a lot of brush. Okay. Um, so yeah. So protectant, your snake proof boots, gaiters, chaps. Give them a wide breast. Make sure that you give them plenty of room. Okay. Sometimes maybe if you just stop, back up, let them go about their business and move on. Okay. So give them space, and then always, always, always pay attention to your surroundings. Okay. You're out there for a reason anyway. Uh, don't just rush through the woods as if a bull in a china shop sort of scenario. Enjoy it. So take your time, walk through it, pay attention, look down at the ground, look up, look around, look, and just be aware of your entire surroundings. Okay. All right, one last thing I'd like to talk to you about in regards to snakes. So, you need to, if you get bit, you need to make sure you stay calm. Don't get upset. I know it's going to be very hard to do, especially if you don't like snakes, like myself. But you need to stay calm. What you need to do is make sure your heart rate does not start beating faster, because then that'll pump your blood faster and it'll get the poison. If you were bit by a poisonous snake, it'll get that poison through your system a lot faster. Okay. The first thing you should do is just make sure if you got a good visual of the snake, that's good. If you didn't, just make sure it's not in the vicinity anymore. Get to a safe place, sit, relax, try to get the heart rate down, okay, and call 911 and ask for help, okay. If you don't have service, because there's probably a lot of you out there just like me, you may hunt in an area that you don't have phone service. Uh, Try to walk to the closest place that you may have service, and then call for help. Okay, you don't want to walk too much. You don't want to. You want to try to keep from pumping that blood through your system. Okay, so just make sure you stay calm. Not every bite from a snake, not every strike from a snake injects poison. Okay, there are a lot of times you may be bitten by a poisonous snake and they did not excrete the poisonous venom into your body. Okay, now you always have to be safe, so you need to go. You will have a bruise. You'll leave 2 puncture marks. You'll get a bruise depending on how big it is. So just be careful out there. Look around. You know, keep it. Pay attention to your surroundings. Okay. Okay. So that's snakes. The other thing I could say the same thing with bears. We got black bears. Typically, they'll stay away from you. But if you run across them here again, just give them a wide breath or wide breath. Which I'll say that with any type of predator type game. Okay, we don't have the big mountain lion, cougar type cats here in Virginia, but we do have bobcats, coyotes, foxes. And if you back them up into a corner, they're gonna try to fight their way out, and you could get hurt. So even a bear, especially if you're around cubs or whatever. So just give all those animals some room. Okay, they're not in season right now anyway, so just give them some room, let them go by. Watch them, take some pictures, but try to give them plenty of space. Okay. If you have any questions about any of this stuff or any of the shows that we've had before, just feel free to give me a shout, um, comment on the show, or send us an email at 2guysintheoutdoors@gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the show. Leave a comment. Share the show with a friend. And give it a like.